Welcome, Vinny.
Hi, Martin. How you going?
I'm all right. I'm all right. We're doing the part two of this conversation we had a couple of days ago. We're just talking about the India South Africa Test series, and obviously after our conversation, there was a 1 day also with it. So we'll just have a quick. We'll have a chat about it, dissect it a bit, and take it from there. For those of you who are coming in for the first time, thank you very much for coming, and checking us out. For those of you who are returning and listening to our content, we appreciate it and thank you very much. All right. On that lovely note, let's I'll hand it over to Vinny. How are you, mate? What's
I
going
am
on?
well, thank you. I'm well. Oh, what's going on? Well,
Well,
a lot going on.
mate, let's start off with the weather. Yesterday was it was really cold, and today we're dealing with what 33?
Oh no, we got to say where we are to put it in context. We're in Melbourne.
We're in Melbourne.
The city that is renowned for having 5 seasons in a day is living up to its reputation. So, like Martin said last night, and this time, I can categorically say I had my winter clothes on.
Yep.
And this morning we're struggling to put on. It's so warm.
Yep.
I'm struggling to wear pants.
Yeah, it's exactly right. We're doing when I started the car and I was coming home, my car said it was 33 degrees centigrade, by the way. And if you're in the United States, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it is stinker. It's a stinking hot day, and apparently tomorrow is really even hotter. So there you go. I mean, it's interesting times. However, we're here to talk about the cricket and the India South Africa series. Obviously, uh, India played two test matches with South Africa. Look, I get a bit emotional when it talks about India and India not playing to its actual capabilities. However, I'm not. I'm going to try and stay. I'll keep my comments to myself, or I'll do say a couple of things, but I'm going to get this man to kind of talk to us about it and tell us, give us a little bit of a perspective and what happened there, and basically dissect it and probably come up with something that is positive. Hopefully.
Well, I'm glad you started off with the weather. And you did say it was a bit of a stinker outside. The only thing more stinkier than that was India's performance in the home series.
Yep.
Look, you have every right to feel the way you are feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's the case with the majority of the fan following, anyone that follows Indian cricket, actively or passively, really, including, dare I say, the players themselves. Look, again, this isn't a match report. This, as much as we're not
be.
So there's no spoilers here. India has lost in the last 12 months. They've lost 2 home series, and that's putting it mildly. We got whitewashed. So 3-0 against New Zealand. Then we won. Well, then we won against West Indies. And then we just got walloped against South Africa. 2-0 again. Now, look, sport, we understand there are wins and losses. I think the more concerning thing is this has happened in the space of 12 months. Now, at home, I think one thing, in India has never been great tourists up until the last 15 years. Away series, we would get walloped. We'd have the odd win here and there, but winning a test overseas was as good as it got. But that completely changed in the last 15 years.
It has, yes.
Right? We were almost a well-rounded track. We could match anyone overseas, and we have the results to prove it as well. But whilst this was going, I think one thing we all took for granted was the record we had at home. India at home was, what's the word I'm looking for? We built a bit of a fortress at home.
Yeah, and this Fortress India.
Fortress India, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like the Red Fort, with a big moat in front.
Combine all the forts together, and it's like
with a huge
super
moat.
Fort. Yeah, super fort, if you like.
Yep.
And going back years ago, I did say we were good tourists 10 to 15 years ago, but before that as well, even in the eras of the Azharuddins and the Gavaskars and stuff, yes, we were not great tourists, but guess what? At home, we had a point to prove. So much so, Steve Waugh, famously did call winning in India the final frontier. The team that he was leading, that was on a world record of 16 consecutive wins, had their sort of their streak broken in India. Look, I guess my point here is,
Can I call a reference here? It's like Alexander the Great conquering everything and then turns up in India and gets beaten.
Right?
So sorry, I didn't. I'm just trying to be more philosophical here.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
But I guess the point was, yes, we were winning at home. We were convincingly winning it. Oh, I wouldn't say convincingly, right? Yeah, there were close matches, but somehow or the other, we always managed to win at home, to the point where, like I said, we almost took it for granted. Now, it's hard not to, one, feel disillusioned, but two, not to draw. Well, it's hard not to draw conclusions. So we've lost series, like I said. Yes, things happen in sport. You do lose. But the fact that this has happened within 12 months, and what else has happened in the last 12 months? A leadership change, a team management change, a coach and coaching structure change as well. So, look, again, we're not here to conjure up conspiracies, but I think it's plain as daylight to see that is the only common denominator other than the players. Because as we were discussing sort of off-air, Martin, last year this time, the BGT was going on. India was playing in Australia, right? Again, new coach, but we had just played Australia in Perth and we had beaten them. And this is on the back of 2 back-to-back series wins in Australia. Bumrah comes, bowls the spell of his lifetime, and we win in Australia. Kohli scores 100. Everything's looking great. But that was pretty much the only sort of highlight. From there on, we know what happened from there on. Since then, things have just gone, it's just nosedived.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? The nosedive part of it, right?
Yes.
I mean, me and both of us work in corporate, right? So
unfortunately,
yes. Well, unfortunately, I don't know, but we all work in corporate. There is what we call, if this kind of thing happened in corporate, usually people, you're heading for the chopping block.
Well, it's not even chopping block, man. And you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Man, performance, you have to perform.
Correct, right? You are as good as
your last sale. Look, let me put it bluntly. You're as good as your last sale.
Yeah.
Or if you're a manager, you're as good as how your team is performing. So if your team ain't performing and your team was performing the year before, but then you came in and then all of a sudden the whole team is not doing well, I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of one-on-ones.
Correct, right? Okay, absolutely. And to that point as well, like, let's take the coach aside. If a player was consistently failing, you are within your rights to drop that said player, right? So, look, at the end of the day, it is a competitive environment. You are expected to perform. If you don't perform, I wouldn't say you need to be on the chopping block, but questions need to be asked.
Absolutely.
Should be asked.
Should be asked.
Absolutely, right? It has to be dissected. You need to sort of introspect or just find out what's going on.
Yep.
The problem now is, I think where we're sitting, not only has India nosedived, I think the scary bit is, I don't know if this is rock bottom at this stage.
You did mention that to me.
Yeah, and I think that's where the bigger concern is. Look, there's a lot of media. You can go in there, we can point fingers at the coach, you can point fingers at a particular player, we can talk. There's other reasons to give.
I'm going to pull you up there. I don't think pulling up particular players is going to be helpful. I think in this particular case, and this is my personal opinion, don't take it for gospel. My opinion is that if the fish rots from the head is what we always know, and if there is a problem, and this is catastrophic, I mean, like, seriously, okay, New Zealand happened. They kind of said, oh no, it's all good. We'll correct ourselves or whatever it is. Turns out the South Africans come up and wallop us, and we're not talking by skinny margins.
Correct.
We're not talking skinny margins here because that's tolerable. Not tolerable. That's the fact that okay, that's a game. We can go anyway. The fact that they comprehensively
The nature of the defeat.
the nature of the defeat. It was so much so. The best way to describe it, it's like Brazil playing Germany, okay,
in the soccer.
and in soccer. And as you know, it happened in one of the World Cups where Germany ended up scoring 7-0, and the coach had to tell the German players, please don't score anymore because don't humiliate them to that point. That's how comprehensive a defeat. And in this particular case, the South African coach said, we wanted India to grovel. And guess what? I don't know, the adjective grovel even helps it.
Yeah. The grovel bit, I get where you're coming from. Yeah. I think that was a bit lost in translation. But you're absolutely right. The Indian Test cricket is in a state of free fall. Let's put it that way, right? And look, I did spend a lot of time. Clearly shows how much I need to get out a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking it, just dissecting it, and look, I think us as humans, we have this tendency when something goes wrong to find out the root cause and almost to point fingers. It gives us peace to find out, point the finger at a particular person and say he is responsible. Now, I can sit here. I am, hand on heart, I am not a supporter of the Indian coach, Gautam Gambhir. There's been a lot of tactical errors. Not that we're professional, but even us sitting, on this side of the fence, we look at the team selections. Ever since he's taken on the role of the head coach, the team tactics, the team selections, the squad selections has all been awry at best, right? None of it made sense. There was almost what's the word? He's bullish about his ideas and he's determined to make his ideas make it work, as opposed to make Indian cricket work. What suits best? We talk about horses for courses, but it's almost like and this is, sometimes power corrupts, right? You're so fixated by what you think is right that you lose sense of reality.
And I think that's really, really valid, because when he does his press conferences, it's really telling, right? I mean, and I'm not kidding. It feels like he has a chip on his shoulder.
He definitely does. And the problem there, sorry, I didn't.
No, go. So, yeah, it feels like he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's wanting to prove himself, and so he goes. It's like a maniacal thing where he thinks, okay, he wants to prove that he's good at what he's, and I don't know whether, and that's possibly taking it. I mean, like, I'll give you the numbers from here, right? I mean, the first innings, South Africa scored 159. We scored 189. So how much? What, 30
runs?
30 runs ahead. In the second innings, South Africa scored 153, and we were all out of 93. That was the first one, right? I don't even want to tell you the second. The second one was so bad.
No, let's go on to that first test, Martin. Now, the numbers seem dire, right?
They won by 30 runs.
Okay, I guess the question there is, to the untrained eye, to anyone that's just looking at the scorecard, like you said, you're right, you could literally go and say, 30 run, maybe that was unlucky. That's not the point. India opted to go with a rank turner. Right?
This is Eden Gardens too.
Eden Gardens is getting a test after God knows how long.
How long?
Right? And what does the coach come out at the press conference at the end of the match? He says, this is a pitch we specifically requested. We got what we wanted. We did. The batters batted as well as they should have, we would have won the game. Okay. My issue, there's a lot of things to unpack from there. One is, so you specifically, on the back of losing 3-0 to New Zealand, we saw how that plan backfired. Look, and I'm here to. It's very easy for me to fall into the trap and start going anti-Gambhir, but I'll try to bring it back.
Yeah.
Play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And try to give a balanced argument.
Mm.
You ask for a raging Turner, okay, and then you play 4 spinners. Now, I don't care what world you're from. If you are playing 4 spinners, there is a very high probability that at least 1, if not 2 spinners will be underbowled. On a raging Turner, you do not need 4 spinners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, that is just looking at spinners. Just because a person can spin a ball does not make him or her a test spinner.
Good point.
Right? And it doesn't end there. What does the team management do? Again, I'm refraining from calling the head coach, just pointing my fingers at the head coach. What does the management do? In that test, who's your number 3? Well, leading into this test, up until then, during the England season, who was your designated number 3 after Pujara was dropped? Well, Pujara hasn't been playing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We brought back Karun Nair for 1 test,
Mm-hmm.
then dropped him to number 5,
Mm-hmm.
then brought Sai Sudarshan from literally nowhere.
Yep.
This is a guy, and again, this is not a slight on Sai Sudarshan. He's young. He's 23, if not younger. Average is just under 40 in domestic cricket, right? He's barely played a handful of red ball games, but he's had a stellar IPL season. We take him as we groom him for the number 3 position. Look, you and I, we're not selectors, right? The selectors may have seen something more in him. We haven't seen him train. We haven't seen him play. Sometimes you got to back your gut instinct,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Get it. They gave him a bit of an extended rope.
Mm-hmm.
In the series against West Indies, he plays.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we do in this test, in the first test? Who's your number 3?
Who is it?
Washington Sundar.
Mm-hmm.
Washington Sundar, again, good potential to have a good player, don't get me wrong, an all-rounder. He has played a few knocks.
Mm-hmm.
He has played some test innings. He can turn the ball a bit. But you throw him into a number 3 position.
Which is actually the anchor position, to be honest.
In test cricket, you're spot on, Martin. In test cricket, again, this is not you and I just making up stuff. History has proved almost your best batsmen in test cricket, in red ball cricket, are your number 3s and number 4. They are your pivots. They are the glue they are the fulcrum around which the team rotates.
Right. Yeah.
They are the ones that control the tempo of the game. And let's look at the number 3s of the world. You have Ricky Ponting, Brian Lara, Steve Smith for a while. Then you've got Pujara, Dravid. Like the legacy there. Pujara's, at this stage, I can hand on heart say, you say number 3, the first name that I can think of is Rahul Dravid and Pujara. Just the way they call Rahul Dravid the wall. The series that India won in Australia, the first BGT one, that was all Pujara, just on the back of being that number 3.
Oof,
anyway,
the amount of balls he took to his body.
Look, you play Washington Sundar, and up until that, he's playing at number 8. So you've thrown him there. So what was your experiment in getting Sai Sudarshan in? Okay, in Washington Sundar's defense, he can hold a bat, right? He's no mug with the bat. He does have a test century in England. He holds the bat, doesn't score a mountain of runs, but he does play. All right.
Mm-hmm.
On the basis of that decision, you go, maybe the team is investing in Washington Sundar as a number 3. Does not make sense, but you just got to, okay, these are the guys calling the shots. Maybe they know something.
I know
what happens in test number 2.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that.
In test number 2, we have, look, again, not going through the scores. Everyone can go through the scorecard themselves. But in test number 2, Shubman Gill is injured, right? Common sense would dictate, okay, so you've lost a captain, big loss, right? Now, Shubman Gill was your number 3, not in the team. Sorry, he's your number 4 rather. So common sense would suggest a prime batsman is gone. Wouldn't you replace him with a full batsman, right? Like a proper batsman, a right-handed batsman or a left-handed batsman? Again, up to tactics. But you think you'd select a player whose prime skill is batting, who's been selected on the basis of being a full-fledged batsman. What does the team management do? They bring back Nitish Kumar Reddy, who is, yes, I know India's obsessed with getting an all-rounder ever since Hardik Pandya has given up the test, sort of chasing the test dream rather. We have struggled to find a seam bowling all-rounder. And it's great to have on paper. Look at Australia with Cam Green and Bo Webster, your Ben Stokes of the world. That's an asset, right? Someone who can bowl a few overs and bat.
Jadeja.
No, I'm talking about seam bowling.
Oh,
seam bowling. In India, the reason why India had home dominance was the fact that we had all-rounders, but they were spin bowling all-rounders, right? Right, no, absolutely. And that's a great point to bring up, actually. We'll park that for now. We bring back Nitish Kumar Reddy. Now, I don't have a problem with... I did have a problem, I'll be honest. I was annoyed at the start, but now that I play, I can see why they would select X factors. But my point of contention here is he's far from the finished product. Yes, he had an amazing innings at the MCG during the BGT, but that was one-off.
Yep.
If you see his score since then, he's barely made double digits a handful of times. Again, not his fault. It's not his fault he got picked. It's not his fault that he got selected. It's not his fault that he got asked to play. You can see when a person is a finished product. My point of contention is why is the team management using these live tests as your testing ground? You identify a prospect, let them earn their grind, earn their stripes, do the grind in the domestic tournaments, perfect their skill. Tell them, look, there's a reason we've earmarked you, we've got our sights on you. This is what I think you need to work on for you to break. Make loads of runs, get loads of wickets, or work on your bowling during this time and come. But we're looking at you. Rather than throw them in the deep end and hope that the proverbial sticks.
Yeah, look, there's...
And my other point of, going on a bit of a rant, I've tried. What sort of message is this sending to the people that have been doing the grind in Ranji trophies? People that have been churning runs for your current eyes of the world. Yes, he got one chance against England, but that was England. He's earned his runs in India. You would think in India, you would call back upon the people that are actually playing in day in and day out.
Yeah, this is the thing that confuses me too, man.
So what's the message you're sending?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I like cricket, don't get me wrong, but I'm not as analytical as he is. But I would say that, if you were to format of the game, you would bring people that have played the format and are good in the format and understands the format and the tactics and the conditions for it. Why choose people based on IPL numbers is what confuses the living crap out of me. I mean, and when you see these kind of scores, it tells you there is a problem here. The thing is, and I say this because the thing you mentioned to me something about Gautam Gambhir, and when he was not a coach, but he had issues with Dhoni and he had issues with Kohli and he had issues with everyone.
Yeah.
And you basically, you said a couple of things. Is he trying very hard to prove his theory?
Yes, I get the feel. Again, there is no written evidence for this. I get the feeling. I think that's what it is. I think he's a man that is, this is well documented, he contradicts his own statements. This is a man that contradicts his statements to the point where it's almost a joke sitting in some of his press conferences. He's so full of himself, sometimes he doesn't realize what he just said 2 minutes ago. That's how bad it is. This is a man that has actually famously once on record said that he does not want, he would rather have people in the test team that are unglamorous but have the will to survive. He'll choose them any day over flashy players. Now, I don't know, I don't care how you strip it. None of that makes sense to me. I'm sorry. What does that even mean? At the end of the day,
By that statement, he would rather not have a Kohli. He would rather not have a Lara. He would rather not have any of those guys.
That's in essence.
In essence, and in basketball terms, I would
Wouldn't have a Michael Jordan.
not have a Michael Jordan, not have a Steph Curry. Or in soccer terms, let's just say, we will not have who Messi or.
Actually, soccer is a great thing. This is before he became the coach. Oh, I can't remember if he had just become coach. To show you the level of contradiction. And sometimes, do you know how sometimes you just, we've all experienced people, come across walks of people in our lives. There's some people that just say things just to sound different, not necessarily make you.
Yeah.
So this guy, famously on record, someone had asked him, do you like, he follows soccer. He's like, who do you rate better, Messi or Ronaldo? Which is a common question. You know what the man's answer was?
None.
Take a guess.
None?
Good guess. He said, I rate neither of them. I like Marcus Rashford. Again, he's entitled to it, but that's the equivalent of me asking,
wow,
where is your house? Or my house is not next to yours. That's a great answer, but it has not answered my question. This is a man, again, at the press conference when the press, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, when they said, when he was asked to talk about the losses after South Africa, he said, sometimes you forget that I'm the same man that won. Mind you, he's talking about himself in the first person here. I'm the same man that won you the Champions Trophy and the Asia Cup. Hold your horses, Gautam Gambhir. A coach, first of all, never takes credit for that.
Yeah.
Two, we're talking about the red ball. We're not talking about the white ball.
Yeah.
Right? And there's memes going on. So someone's asked you, how have you lost the South Africa series? His response is, I'm the same one that won you the white ball championship. It's a great answer, mate. If I were to use, I'm not a psychology student, but that sounds like classic deflection to me.
Yeah, well, the problem I think is that he's lost in his own. He thinks he's a genius.
Okay.
Here's what I think. He thinks he's a genius. He thinks. I think he's desperate to prove his theories right. That I can take it's like a Disney movie. You know, when you see one of those Disney movies where there's a bunch of kids or whatever it is that are in a not so glamorous school, and a coach has inspired them to the point where and taken them to the championships and they won it kind of through it. I think maybe he's living that. I don't know whether that's that, because the psychology of this doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, right?
And this makes no sense, because you look at we look at soccer. How much money has all these, or like the guys, where's Messi playing? Real, is it?
Yeah, not Real.
I don't know. All right. Anyway, but what I'm trying to drive at here is that you have a couple of really good players, and then you build around that. But anyway,
look,
this
is and like I said, it's very easy for us to fall into the trap and start yelling at Gambhir. I think.
No, but I'm sorry.
No,
the fish rots on the head.
Yes, you keep saying that, Martin. But the question here is Gautam Gambhir the head?
Well, he's put himself as head. He's talking on the first person.
No. But that's him. That's him as a coach, right? Let's start digging let's start double clicking there.
All right.
Okay, so this is my point. He keeps, at one point, the argument was, we are a team in transition.
Mm-hmm.
I take offense to that. I don't think this is a team in transition. Gambhir or this management inherited a team that was at its pinnacle. Yes,
Mhm.
Kohli and Rohit were on the decline as batsmen,
Mhm.
but bar that, everyone else, your Washington Sundar has been part of that famous BGT victory that we won.
Mm.
Pant has been playing. Jaiswal he's only 20 tests old, but he's a star. KL Rahul, patience is wearing thin, but he's literally the senior player here.
Mhm.
The only ones that can ask, Sai Sudarshan is probably about 8 tests old, or 5 rather. There's only a handful in there that haven't played. Bumrah, top of his game. Top of his game, he's got a reputation. Siraj, yes. Your bowling wise, you've got Kuldeep, Jadeja. They're almost test stalwarts at this stage, especially in India. So there's nothing to suggest the team is transition. And if you ever, I think Pujara in a recent interview, he was furious to the point where I've never seen him get so worked up. He said, you could be a team in transition, but the fact that you're losing at home is unacceptable. You do not lose at home.
Mhm.
He's been part of series where they've lost tests at home, but they've always bounced back.
Mhm.
So my point here is, and we talked about this on a previous episode, look, once the WTC came in, there has been a tendency for BCCI, and I'm talking about only in India, to create these rank turners, right? One, because of the way
Want a
the
result.
they want a result. Exactly right. Not just a result. Sorry, they want to win.
Win.
Right. So you get points. You get, I think from memory, 4 points for a draw.
Mhm.
You get maximum points for a win, and obviously nothing for a loss.
Mhm.
During your home, what can you control? Your home conditions and your home victory. So the best way to win, the best chance to secure your points is to win at home, win completely. Whether that win is comprehensively. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Whether you win in 5 days, whether you win in 3 days, whether you win in a day and a half, doesn't matter as long as you win.
Mhm.
So because that is now in the back of minds of all, and look, not in the BCCI's defense, all home countries are doing that, right? Australia, we just saw the first Ashes test finish in 2 days, right? But what that's done to a country like India is the fact that for some odd reason we've got in our heads that spin is the way to win in India. Yes, it is, but we forget, we're almost underappreciating the fact that we've got a world-class bowling lineup. We've got a set of fast bowlers. We've got Bumrah, we've got Siraj. You give them helpful conditions, these guys can make the ball talk. So what are you doing there? I think the other concerning fact is we're losing these tests on the fact of playing a full strength bowling attack. Previously, when we would play in India, such was the foresight and the assurance that the team had that when we would come to India, the likes of Bumrah was given rest. He was almost told, mate, we need you for overseas tests. You kick back. Go wrap yourself in cotton wool. Do not do anything silly, but you work on your game. We've got the bowlers that we've identified that can win us games in India. That's why Jadeja and Ashwin came to the fore. We had fast bowling specialists in the Shamis of the world, the Umesh Yadavs, your Ishant Sharmas. They would do the job. They were not required to do a whole lot of overs, but they were good enough.
Yep.
So, and we know cricket is a game where the scoring, everything is done in partnerships. You bowl in partnerships, you bat in partnerships. Everything is done in partnerships. Your bowling is only effective. Shane Warne has famously said the reason why he got all those wickets, or even McGrath, was because he had McGrath the other end. And McGrath has said the same thing about Shane Warne as well. Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis. The reason they were so good was because pressure was relentless at both ends.
Yeah.
So at one day, Wasim could get a 5-wicket haul. This next day, Waqar would get the 5-wicket haul. They knew, they didn't go out searching for wickets because they knew the wickets would come. But we're still losing tests because of this. So, look, my problem here is this does not look like a settled team. 12 months ago, this team looked assured. When we had, look, Rohit Sharma wasn't a great test captain. He was a great white ball captain. But when Kohli took over the test captaincy, what he did really well, and I'm not just going to give him credit. Him, the coach and the people at the NCA. Rahul Dravid was the coach at that time. They had this shared vision where they said, Test cricket is our ultimate goal. We want to make Test cricket not only prolong Test cricket, but we want to be good at it. We want to promote Test cricket in such a way that we are playing a brand of cricket that resonates with the rest of the world. So as part of that vision, they said, we need to come up with a battery of fast bowlers. And that's where this, even during that series, the BGT series that was played at the height of the COVID, believe it or not, we survived a pandemic. We had people just turning up. Siraj was unearthed from there. But as much as he was a debutant, this guy that wasn't his first gig. He had played so much India A games that when he was thrown into the mix, he was ready for the occasion. He was almost, he according to him, he felt he was delayed the opportunity, but he was ready to go. The engines were revving by then. I think what we have now, and I don't have to be too critical about this. I think what we failed since the last administration is we haven't identified these fast bowlers. Yes, Bumrah is great, Siraj is great, but who's our next set of fast bowlers? We are juggling with Prasidh Krishna, who's shown glimpses, but again,
I don't know why we struggle with that.
And that's my point here. Is it really just Gambhir over here? And I'll go one step further. Selecting Gambhir as a coach. Yes, Shastri did not have coaching experience prior to this, but he was always heralded as a people's man. The time he didn't have a lot of captaincy experience, but when he was the captain of Mumbai in the Ranji team, you can speak to anyone. There is anecdotal evidence to suggest that he was a player's captain. He played to win and he backed players. He was always a people person, and that's what you wanted. I guess what I'm seeing in this management now is there's no settled batting position. Everyone's playing out of order to the point where the way people are playing at the moment is almost for survival. This is a guy, again, Gautam Gambhir has famously said, batting positions are overrated. Okay, it's great when you're winning. Alex Ferguson has famously said, look, you try all these things when you're winning. You try different things when you're winning. The moment you start losing, go back to the formula that's always worked for you. Okay, we can see.
I'm glad you brought Sir Alex Ferguson on that.
Yeah, we had to bring a soccer thing.
Yeah, but because I mean, like, honestly, this man.
Look, and the other thing. Look, let's not get caught up in bashing Gautam Gambhir.
All right, let's not. All right. I mean, I think the problem also is also the selectors, right?
Well, exactly.
Selectors are. Well, we know one of the selectors, which is
he's the chief of selectors, right? He's
the chairman of selectors. Who are the rest of them?
So there's a few more that's just been replaced, Pragyan Ojha. So there's different zones. My point is, and we will never know how the selection committee works. From what I've understood, because there's no evidence, right? There's no hardcore evidence. From what I've understood, from what anecdotal evidence has suggested previously, what teams have done is essentially the team management, which is essentially the coach and the captain, they say, this is the sort of set of players that we want. We want one fast bowler, we want one all-rounder, and then the selectors supply them with the players that they think fits the bill. And it's then up to the team leadership group to choose the level.
So let me ask you this. Well, how do you rate Shubman Gill?
As a captain? It's too early.
Too early.
He's the only... Well, see, that's the other thing. I feel they've rushed him into Test captaincy, but in his defense, look, they weeded out. It's no secret. They smoked out the senior players, right? They smoked out Kohli, and the way they announced their retirements also was very rushed. That's not the case. That doesn't necessarily happen in Indian cricket. It never happens that way.
Can I get you to pause your thought there?
Yeah.
Because one thing I want to ask you is, now, obviously, we've played the first game of One Day International and Kohli smoked it. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But Now, apparently, there is a meeting being called by Ajit Agakar, and it's an emergency meeting with Gautam Gambhir to discuss both Rohit Sharma and what's his name,
Kohli.
Kohli's, whether they should be brought back
into test. I'll stop you right there. That's just hearsay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Kohli at the press conference, at the post-match conference, Harsha Bogle asked, "Is this the only format you're playing?" He asked a cheeky question, and Virat Kohli smiled and said, "Yes, this is the only format I'll be playing from now on."
No, but
And look, I
why?
do not. I look. Even if that were true, I think that is a very bad move to make. The whole point of this is moving forward, right? Bringing in the
Well,
match.
that would only work if they take he's sidelined now.
Well,
Even
put
the
it this
coach,
way,
the
also,
coach
but
is sidelined, and they say we need
yeah.
to bring in a bit of experience and to do this thing
But
properly.
I'll tell you why that argument is flawed, or the thought process is flawed.
Mm.
India does not play another test until August next year, right? So
It's a long way to the
it's
top.
a long way, right? Again,
Who are we
Kohli,
playing?
Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. And can I say in the current form that we're in?
Mm.
Actually, no, that's disrespecting Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is playing, their batters are at a different level altogether. Their test batting is ridiculous. Some of the names in there are, oh my God. They are, you
Maybe,
think
yeah.
you think Sangakkar and Jayawardene was this thing. These guys will give them a serious run for their money. And trust me, the spinners in Sri Lanka, they're at different. If we are playing this brand of cricket, we will get walloped there, 100%. And
what would be the excuse then?
I don't think. It'll still be, the excuse then will be we haven't played enough red ball cricket, because this is on the back of a T20 World Cup and a 3-month-long IPL.
So I mean, we'll hold you to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to it, but I'm not going to bet the house on that, because
No.
what you have told me before and has come very true. You know, you said the moment this whitewash happens, they're going to come up with the fixed excuses, this team in transition, without even batting an eyelid. That's exactly what came out. So, excuses are plenty.
That's the thing.
And nobody's being held to account.
That is my point, Martin. That is my point. So we talked about a corporate analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one has done anything as yet. In fact, the BCCI secretary came on record to say there will be no knee-jerk reactions. No one will be replaced. I get that. But surely there has to be some introspection. Like we've lost, on current form, we've lost 5-0 to a top test team at home in 12 months with a full strength team.
And
I said, so what is going on? And I think this is,
I get all this knee-jerk, there shouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction, but the fact of the matter is,
and
the fans are baying for blood.
Fans are baying for blood, Martin, but is that going to fix the problem?
Well, that's
a new coach comes in. Okay, admittedly, they get rid of.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I'm not a soccer person, right?
Yeah.
So apologies separate. I'm more of a rugby union person, right? I like rugby union. I follow the All Blacks. You know, when I look at the All Blacks, phenomenal team, all right? Phenomenal team. And they take the job seriously. I just feel like the Indian team, which is my team that I follow, I mean, like, this inconsistency just drives you insane.
The inconsistency comes from the fact that I feel the players are insecure. I feel they're
being paid a lot of money.
Paying doesn't mean anything, man. You need to enjoy what you're doing.
So okay,
just because
let's dissect that question, right? Enjoy what they're doing. I mean, all of these guys took up the sport of cricket to play, and are you going to say that they're not enjoying it? And if that is the case, and nobody obviously want to open them up because obviously jeopardizes their future, how are we going to fix this?
So this is my thing. I actually think Gautam Gambhir is not the problem here. He's a symptom, but not the problem. He's symptomatic of a bigger problem, and that's why I said it's very easy for us to go on and look. Gautam Gambhir hasn't done himself any favors with the way he presents himself, with the way he carries himself, and the statements he makes, right? And the tactics. I guess my problem here is one, chairman of selectors. We are selecting players purely based on IPL numbers. There is nothing to suggest that players that do the grind in the Ranji Trophy are actually being considered. What message is that sending? Two, we selected a coach that had no coaching credentials and gave him utmost autonomy to do whatever he wants.
Is that normal?
It's never been normal.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you, because the one we can do a direct comparison is compared to Rahul Dravid as a coach, compared to Rahul Dravid or Shastri as also a coach, is he got more
look the way
powers or what is it?
Look, it's actually let me approach this a different way. Gambhir has always said he dislikes superstars in the team. Now, when Shastri was the coach, who did we have at the helm? Virat Kohli, who was, by all accounts, in his defense, he earned it. He was the superstar of the team, right? You would always refer to it as Kohli's team, never Shastri's team. So he was the bona fide superstar in that team. And this is on the back of MS Dhoni retiring. And MS Dhoni famously, especially as a test captain, didn't have a lot of... he didn't have a great legacy. White ball, phenomenal legacy. Kohli was Then Kohli got displaced. Who became captain? Rohit Sharma. Again a superstar, right? What Dravid... I guess my point here is absolute superstars. When Gambhir comes in, what happens? Rohit, Ashwin, Kohli all retire.
That's weird. I saw that Ashwin thing.
And what happens? And what happens then is you nominate Shubman Gill as the captain. As we just talked about 10 minutes ago, this is a guy who is still finding his feet as a player, let alone as a captain. So I guess the question, it's a very long-winded way to answer your question, but this is where you can't help but think the coach is the one at the wheel at the moment. Because
he has come out and said it's my team.
Yes, and look, previous coaches have also said, they don't say my team, but they say I'm proud of the boys. They always deflect. Dravid has famously said he will, every time, if there was ever a loss, he will be the one in the press conference who the players do not deserve to be there. And when they win, he's always taking the back seat.
Do you know who actually well, you know, one of the guys that actually did this very well? Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to deflect on this. So everyone knows the former president of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, and he basically said that when he was when first couple of attempts of trying to send a rocket and it all ended up in the Bay of Bengal. That at that time, I don't know who was the head of the ISRO at that time. He would take the responsibility. But when they finally got it on, called Kalam to go and do the dissect. Basically, it's an amazing leadership tendency. If you're going to if there's a problem, the boss will take the blame. And if there's accolades to go, that's the team takes.
Team takes the blame. So the point here is when Gambhir took over, there was no clear-cut choice of a captain. In fact, Shubman was made the captain. So, and like I said, this is a guy who is still finding his place in Test cricket. I mean, he has stepped up to captaincy, at least in terms of batting ability. And look, for what it's worth, he didn't start off great in the England series, but towards the end, you could see glimpses of some tactical moves. But again, the sample set is very, very small, right?
It is.
Especially from and against West Indies, again, no disrespect to West Indian cricket, but they are bottom ranked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And again, that's also a team that where they struggle to play Test cricket at best.
Well, you could say
where this stands out is the way New Zealand played and South Africa played. Here is a group of players that do not have any bona fide superstars. but they played as a unit under Temba Bavuma. He's the most unassuming character, if you like.
Yes.
But he has won the World Test Championship, and now he's beaten India in India, right?
That man is a hero in
So
South Africa.
the question here is again, and that is a team that looks like they want to be there. They're in it for each other.
Yeah.
They thrive on each other's success. I think there was one century in that whole innings, Muthusamy, who scored a century, but everyone else didn't score centuries. But they were played high enough. It was 80s, 90s that they managed. In that 489, there was just one century. Everyone else contributed. So that's a team. That's a sum of all its parts. So I guess to answer your question, clearly Gambhir is. I don't know how the job was given. We will never know. But from what it stands, again, they've given him a rope until the ODI World Cup, which is until 2027. And I'm pretty sure, as part of the terms of his contract, he would have said, I'll run this ship. I need no interference. And I think that's what he's looking. He'll bring his own coaching staff. And I guess that's the bigger thing. In any other country, or let's take Australia. If an organization is serious about the cricket that they're playing in, after the first New Zealand series and the BGT, they would have stopped and said, try to stem the rot. There doesn't appear to be any. Even now, if there's a report that, they're going to catch up, well, man, the ship has sailed. That's not going to reverse, and we're not playing a test until August. What's that doing now? So I guess, one, I see, yes, like you said, the fish rots at the head. Gambhir is not the head. He's the head of this team, but there's something else above him that is letting him get away with what it is. It's almost like if the BCCI was actually serious about cricket. Here's the way I was thinking about it on my drive here. This is one of the world's richest sporting bodies. The BCCI is a private organization, right? It's got money coming out of their yin-yangs, right? If they were as we mentioned, Kohli was a custodian for Test cricket. He even in this year's IPL, which Royal Challengers won, what does the man say at the press conference? He's waited 18 years to win an IPL.
That's right.
The first thing he says is, "This is great, but it's about 5 notches below a Test victory." And he said, and this is credit where the credit's due. He said, "I urge all the youngsters to prioritize Test cricket." And he said, and I can't remember, I think it was Matty Hayden interviewing him, said, why? He's like, the praise that you get, the sense of accomplishment that you get from being a Test player, people look you in the eye, people respect what you've done, that matches cannot come anything close to a T20, right? I guess my point is that was a vision that was shared by him, the board then, the powers that be, the coach, the people at the academy, and the India A coaches. I think now it's almost, if the BCCI was actually serious,
Go on.
I was going to say, if the BCCI was actually serious, they would have identified a separate coaching program. What's stopping them from identify a separate camp, organize more air tours? Under Kohli and Shastri's regime, they identified test specialists. Your Pujaras, your Rahanes were designated test specialists. They negotiated a contract. Because mind you, all the earnings come from the limited overs, your IPLs. You test, unless you play those regular tests, you don't earn a truckload. But they negotiated a separate contract where these guys were actually earning half decent. So they're incentivizing players to become Test cricketers. Now, with the messaging that the BCCI is currently sending, why would a 20-year-old now go and say, you know what, I'm going to play 15 seasons of the Ranji, score 1,000 runs, because eventually why would he do that? He just knows, I just need to play in one of the not even the IPL, the domestic leagues, your Maharashtra Premier League, your Karnataka Premier League, your Delhi Premier League. That's enough for me to get noticed and get some sort of, just get sucked into the IPL setup, not a playing 11. I'll earn my bucks there.
Maybe they're fast. I'll play the devil's advocate here, right? And allow me to do that. Maybe they're looking at it and saying, look, Test is great. No problems. We agree with it. Problem with it is it can't sustain itself, and nobody, as the generation is changing, and as more and more people are coming from the bottom up, they don't have the patience for 5 days. Forget about 2 days. Forget about a day. They don't even want that anymore. People don't have the time, right? And at the end of the day, the game is all said and done. Yes, it's a nice to have, and we've all faced this thing in corporate. It's a nice to have, but if there's something else that is producing the bucks, then that's what we concentrate on.
And you're not playing devil's advocate, Martin. You're stating the
blatant obvious.
Blatant obvious. That's the reality of it. So where India is sitting, I think India, when I say India, I'm talking about the BCCI. I think the BCCI is so, and look, you're right. Just the people of our generation. Test cricket is interesting as long as India is winning, right? We can talk about it, and yes, we do. In BCCI, the Indian team does bring in the numbers, and in the Indian team's defense, up until the last 12 months, 15 months, India was a serious test playing nation. The India-Australia series were competitive as hell. The India-England series, and the big three were the ones that were, so much so England were the ones that sort of had to play catch up. They had to invent baseball to come back into the reckoning. At this stage, and I think India was almost overconfident, took it for granted that, yep, doesn't matter, we'll bring in the numbers, we'll still win. I think now it's got to a stage where they're confused, and frankly, I don't even think they care. Like I said, it's not sending a great signal to the Ranji players, and they're not doing anything for the domestic tournament as well. So what they've done is, look, a common problem that's come up is it looks like Indians don't know how to play spin. I think one thing that infuriates me is the domestic tournament the wickets there are not conducive to spin. Because we've had this obsession to play fast bowlers, over the last years, we've developed some less spinning tracks. So we're seeing less spinners come through. Now, Ashwin in a podcast recently said, it's not enough to turn the ball. It's not enough to bowl the overs. You need to have experience in taking wickets, in prizing out wickets. Yeah. And that's what the South African spinner Simon Harmer showed. He's 36 years of age. But the amount of overs he's bowled in county cricket, I didn't realize until I was reading, he last came about 10 years ago in India and he got walloped. But he went back to the grind, bowled his heart out, and you could say he out-bowled the Indian spinners. I guess what I'm trying to say is nothing replicates experience.
Experience. 2, continuous practice.
Continuous practice in those conditions, right? So these guys, I don't know why the BCCI is obsessed. Let's be clear. The Indian team management is obsessed with having multi-format players. I think it's clear to see the T20 team, Indian team, and the ODI team and the Test team are completely different. The T20 team is made up of completely different. Yes, you'll have a few multi-format players, but the reality is they need to be specialists in their areas. And there's nothing that they're doing to show that level of expertise. We are obsessed with having these all-rounders. 2 Sundars cannot make 1 Ashwin. Just because they can bowl off spin.
I agree.
Ashwin has said, again, even Bumrah. Look, Bumrah was that's not to say the IPL is completely doom and gloom. We've had some talents come through the IPL that have been fast-tracked. But they've had to play a few seasons of Ranji before they got noticed. The problem here is someone like Asai Sudarshan is coming just off the back of an IPL. And the IPL, T20, they produce roads. Washington Sundar can bowl in T20s, but he's not a test bowler.
No.
Will he become a test bowler? Yes, he can. If you let him go back to the grind.
As I said to you, it's like playing blitz chess and
expecting exactly right. Playing blitz chess and saying, it's the same set of rules. Surely I can win the other one. Or it's like saying Usain Bolt. Yeah, he's got 100-meter world records. He can win a marathon.
Yeah, very good, really good. Yeah, he can win a marathon. That ain't gonna happen like that.
No, it doesn't work that way.
One of the things you also mentioned to me was watch it, and once they start the ODIs, and once that start, and India will win, they'll forget about the test.
Martin, and
I'm telling you, well, we won it.
Yeah.
We won the first ODI. You're talking about Rohit and Kohli,
yeah.
and the whole thing is now, okay, forget about the test. I mean, I get it that you have to bury it because that's bad news, but
No, but here's the thing, right? When we were in Australia losing the BGT, what did the BCCI do then?
They just went and did the auction.
They did the IPL auction, right? It was a mega auction, so all attention deflected. When we were losing on that final test, we were on the verge of losing in South Africa. What did the BCCI do? They do the WPL auction.
Yep.
And
but this is actually planned ahead, though. Isn't it?
No. Oh, yes and no. Yes. Yeah. What planning do you need for an auction, Martin? And why should an auction be during a test? It can literally be there's no venue, there's nothing. People will bid for players if it's 48 hours later. There is nothing in this because the auction consumes airwaves. It's not just news. There's a live stream of this. It is not just news. It is not like selection, believe it or not. Actually, everyone knows it is not live stream. They just put out, there's no press conferences, nothing. They put out a team. Something like an IPL, it consumes airwaves, it gives them ad revenue. They put it in there enough to deflect the. And if there's someone sold, bang. What was the big news that, Lisa Healy got unsold. This person got unsold. They're classic. Because that's where their interests lie. It annoys me. It frustrates me. But like we said, this test cricket, yes, all bold statements, and you're rightly on. The white ball side is a different side. Yes, we're winning at the moment. Is everything sunshine and rainbows there? If this is their team environment,
I think that's only a matter of time.
Correct, only a matter of time, right? But the focus now is the T20 World Cup in India.
Yeah, well, right? If they lose that one, and if they
look the thing over there, Martin, is again, I'm slagging off the BCCI. The way the draws have been set up, it's again India, Pakistan in this.
Yeah, that one is just
for all the chest thumping saying we won't shake hands. Miraculously, we find ourselves.
It is so annoying.
It is. It's designed in such a way, and it's the world's worst kept secret, that India will make it to the knockouts. Quarterfinals, the semi-final. And look, in India's defense, they have the players. Again, sport, you can never take anything for granted in sport. We are a team that has crashed out in the first round.
I understand the reasoning behind India playing Pakistan, and they will need to play it at least 3 times so everybody makes their money. And obviously the marketing guys are saying, well, we want an India-Pakistan. Man, it's just it's really, really shite. I'm sorry.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. No. And that's why I think Gambhir is not. There's a much bigger question to be asked. What are the BCCI's priorities?
Money.
Purely commercial. And exactly, money. And then why all this? Maybe just
but the product. Yeah, well, but the thing is, the product has got to sell. If it goes all downhill, the money's not going to come in.
We'll see, and I think that's why they're obsessed with having these multi-format players. You're spot on. The other side of the coin of demanding such big cash is the fact that the person shelling out the cash will be like, "Where's my ROI?"
Well, okay. Very simply put, I want Rohit and I want Kohli to play, and that's why they have all these multi-format. You saw it in the last time they were here. It was all about advertising of Kohli.
Oh, yeah.
It was all about that.
Because they bring sponsors.
Yeah, they bring sponsors.
But again, that only floats as long as India is winning.
Correct. Losing.
If India is losing tests like this,
I'm telling you, they're not going to find sponsors. It's only a matter of time. They will never find.
But that's what I think they don't.
They're
care? Happy for tests to die its gradual death.
Yeah. Okay.
Because again,
it's not making money for them.
Well, I think they're
underwriting it too much.
They're making so much money that they're like, you know what? Yes, we're making X amount of dollars from here, but if that dies, we can make 3x of that in white ball tournament. And we're the only ones that are playing tests anyway. We can afford to play that many tests. England and Australia are being the other two. No one else can afford to play.
No, they can't because
Yes.
there's no money in it.
There's no money in it, exactly.
There's no money in it. That's the biggest problem, and yet, yeah, here we go. It's an interesting
So
times.
I dare say, and again,
Mm.
my crystal ball here, if India, this WTC cycle is a write-off. If they can't do anything in the next WTC cycle, you'll see Test cricket slowly
Killed off.
It'll be like quicksand. You'll just see it sink and sink and sink. And we'll get a stage where we'll say, oh, we'll play the one-off test here, and they're just high-profile tests. But Test cricket is far from the objective. That's not to say this is all doom and gloom. Things can change, but like you said, the head, that rotten fish head, needs to change. We need a new fish.
All right. Well, we play the one-day international.
Yep.
There's one tonight. That's going to happen. Obviously, the first one day, India won.
Yep.
We won by 17 runs.
They ran them close in the end.
They did run them close.
But Kohli scored his 52nd century. Always nice to see that, man.
Yep.
That's a format he enjoys. That's the format he plays.
Yep. So this one is going to be. It's going to be an interesting one, I think. What do you think? What do you predict? Where are they playing this?
Actually,
Raipur.
Okay. That's the other thing. If India was serious about Test cricket, we would have test centers. The problem here is we're playing on venues that are as foreign to the Indian team as they are to the visiting team. We played in Guwahati after God knows how long. So the players themselves don't know what to expect. And Kohli has famously come on record and said, for India to thrive, we need 5 test centers. The beauty of touring overseas is when you come to the MCG. And look, that's not to say it's 100% accurate, but when you come to Perth, you know it's going to be a fast and bouncy wicket. When you get to the Gabba, you know it's going to be a fast. When you get to Sydney, you know what it is. Right? Look, weather conditions affect. It's not an exact science. But over here, India is such a diverse country. One country has red soil. And Ashwin has said that they have to figure their bowling on the fly during a game, because bowling on red soil, bowling on black soil, and bowling on clay takes different. Yeah. You have to vary a pace, you have to vary a trajectory. So it's as foreign for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, like it's
Anyway, so
there's a lot of things that need to be sorted out, isn't it? They need to have dedicated.
It can be sorted out, but
it's just
you need to find out where the priorities lie. And right now, even a blind man can say the priorities do not lie with Test cricket. It's yes, we want them to win, but it doesn't look like they're doing anything to facilitate that.
Yeah. And it's sad. It pains me to say things.
Yeah, look.
I'm hoping it's not true, because at the end of the day, India has to do well for this test to survive, because it's a money. At the end of the day, if there's no money in it, and India is not playing well, and sponsors start walking away, I can tell you now.
Sponsors will walk away from tests.
That's it. Yeah, they will walk away from tests. I'm not only talking about test. Sponsors start walking away from test. So there's only so much Cricket Australia can carry. Cricket Australia is already in the red.
Well, Cricket Australia
is in the red
again. No? Yeah.
And they only beyond a certain point they can carry, after which they can't. It just doesn't make financial sense to them.
Yeah, the BBL. Look,
it's not.
The Ashes. Look, it still brings them.
It doesn't still get them out of the red, though, dude. You have to keep the in context.
BBL, they'll have to open up. They can't keep.
Yeah, the BBL has to be opened up, so the franchise, so they'll be like, the Mumbai Indians, Melbourne or whatever.
That's the only way they can start making money.
Yeah,
the state associations
can't sustain it either. And yeah, so that's basically where this is going.
Yeah.
Right? But the bottom line to this is, Test cricket, for it to keep going, India has to play well, and India has to play very well, because then people will come back and watch it. And yes, there'll be a yearning for it, because it's good fun to watch it. It's a good, but if they're losing at this rate, this amount, these huge margins, yeah, it's only a matter of time before the sponsors say, yeah, no, there's no return here. I can't see it.
So, yeah, you're right. Look, not all doom and gloom.
Hopefully
There's
not.
things. We just need some accountability. Someone to sort of go in there and.
Well, I heard something, and I don't know, because cricket is now coming into the International Olympic Committee, they're going to be playing it.
But that's again the T20 version, Martin.
Yeah, there is. I think there is a move to bring the BCCI under government control, under sports body control.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, well, I believe it too. I think. I'm not sure. All right. On today's game, who do you think is going to win?
I'd have to say India.
Yeah.
Again, not that I just feel we'll get there.
All right. Well, it's not all doom and gloom. Let me just put it this way to you.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Bloody frustrating.
The great news is that the women's blind team, is that correct?
Yes.
They won the World Cup. And that is amazing. It's no joke. And I know there wasn't a lot of, what is it called? Publicity on it. But look, amazing, amazing to see, amazing. Hats off to them for doing it. And I know they're doing this under very, very trying times, and they've come out trumps. So God bless them, and doing
more
well. More power to them. And that's an so I'm not. It's not all doom and gloom. The game will. Obviously, the continent, India and Indians as we are, we will not. The game is intrinsic to who we are as an identity.
We live in hope.
We live in hope. Yeah, sadly, we do. Anything else, Matt? You want to talk about?
No, I think that should be it.
Yeah.
Look, the reality is, like we said, there's no test for another 6 months, so things will change. We've got a T20 World Cup coming up, so that's the.
All right, let me ask. T20 is coming up when?
February.
Okay, so that's just barely 8 weeks away.
Absolutely.
Right. So the question now I have to ask you is, who do you think is going to win that?
You have to, as defending champions, you'd have to put your money on India at this stage.
Because it's being played in India?
That's part of the reason why you wouldn't. But you'd have to look again, just an educated guess, as the current world champions, you'd have to go. And on current form, Indian T20 team is. That's not to say they won't be pushed. Yeah. But evidence at this stage, in this given circumstances, you would say India are one of the contenders. Well, they're the defending champions, so they are. Yeah. You would put some money on them to defend the world title. And T20 is such a fickle game. But
it is a very fickle game.
It is.
I am, you know what? I'm going to bet against India. Can I just say, I think I'm going to go for Australia.
I'm not saying Australia. Australia are very serious contenders. South Africa.
But I'm going to go Australia. And my second team will be New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just taking on. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're not good at consistency. I'll say that now. We're never good at consistency. We're never known for back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Never.
Oh, look, it's hard. Oh, Australia has done it.
I'm talking about India. Yeah. We're not good at back-to-back.
It's cool. And look, there's still another couple of months away, so things could change. We could have injuries. We could have people strengthening the team as well. So, but as it stands, it's still an early call. It's a very early call.
It is very early call. But where are they going to show this? On Kaya?
I would dare.
Is it Prime?
It would be. Actually, I wouldn't have a clue now.
Yeah, I think if it's Prime, I've got it. If it's Kaya, then I don't.
I think it'll be Kaya.
It's going to be interesting. All right. Anything else, mate? You want to talk about? That'll be it. All right. On that bombshell, or whatever you want to call it, on that lovely note, I just want to say thank you very much, mate. It was great chatting to you. Always. I know I was a bit subdued because the initial take we did, I was very excited and animated, and I was advised to bring it under control. So on that note, and I have tried to bring it under a lot of control, so I haven't said a lot. It was great to have you, mate.
Always a pleasure. Thank
And
you for having me.
one thing I do want to talk about is obviously the next Ashes test is coming up. Not too long. I think when is it starting?
In a couple of days, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might, we might get you back after that game is over. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh,
it's a pink ball.
Pink ball test.
Australia.
Yeah, you'd have to say Australia.
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah. No.
So that takes it to 2-0 down.
Yeah, it's hard. To
then from there it is MCG.
Oh, it's hard for them to. Yes. Yeah.
So what do you think the numbers are looking like? 3-2, 4-1, 5-0.
Look, at the start of the series, I would have said at least 3-1 with one test being a draw somewhere.
Which one? Sydney.
Weather to play a part, not the hard fought draw. Yeah. But now that England has lost so spectacularly at Perth, I just say it's going to be a 3-0 or
4-0.
4-0, yeah.
That's a whitewash too.
Yeah, that's a whitewash. And they've historically not done well. But this team, the England team, does have it in them to spring a surprise. I don't think it'll be at the Gabba, though. That's the only thing in the pink ball. All
right. Take two on that lovely note. Thank you very much.
No worries.
All right. We'll have a chat after this second Ashes test. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Martin. See you all.
See you guys. And thank you. And please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay.
Awesome.
That was a lot easier.
Yeah.
See that?